Hi everyone, this is Deb Tim, a Canadian girl, and welcome to my channel. This is a new edition of Deb's Musings. Now it's a personal story, but it impacted my life hugely, and it really holds an important lesson that I want to share with you, so please. This is a personal story to illustrate my point as I share my thoughts on the importance of having a plan B. As I share my thoughts, recalling these memories takes me back to a difficult time and for many years was hard to share. When I was 16, I was not the charming person I am now. I was headstrong and rebellious, to say the least. When I was told or asked to do something one way, my instinct was to do the opposite every time. I was in control of me and I knew best, so I thought. Being hard on my parents in every possible way, our relationship was strained. I quit school and left home and returned after a while, realizing it's not that easy to make it on my own in the real world. Against my parents' wishes, I decided to get married at the tender age of 17. No, I wasn't pregnant. I just wanted to be married, independent, and be out from under my parents' rule. After dating my boyfriend for 6 months, we got married. Looking back now, I was in such a rush because it was exactly what my parents did not want me to do. I hate to admit it now, but back then, before the actual wedding itself, I was filled with doubts, although I could hardly share those feelings and admit my parents were right. We were doing well as a young couple. Our first child arrived in our second year of marriage. I was working full-time and worked right up until the week before I delivered our first son. At that point, I decided to quit work and stay at home, where I wanted to be. From this point on, I was a stay-at-home mom. Over the next 6 years, we had 3 more sons. We were a happy, normal family. Yes, being home full-time was a struggle, and there were many sacrifices we all made so I could spend this special time at home raising our boys. Life went on, and we were happy, so I thought. This life I was living was my plan A. I didn't need a backup plan. I quit school, married, and was a stay-at-home mom. I had no education. I had no prospects for the day my children didn't need me to stay at home. Giving no thought to my future at all, I was living in the moment. After 17 years of being happily married, things changed. It was a Sunday. We, the boys and I, had just gotten home from church. I took the boys myself, as their father would have no part of it. His excuses were feeble, not even worth mentioning. Bringing the boys up in a home of love and faith was very important to me. Looking back now, this was one of the many things that fell to my shoulders without any support from their father. Once the boys were changed into play clothes and off to play, their father dropped a bomb on me. He simply said he was leaving. Not digesting the impact of the statement, I misunderstood him to mean he had somewhere to go and would be back in a little while. I asked him what time he'd be back. Looking me straight in the eye, he said he was never coming back. He was leaving for good. Never coming back? I had to repeat that a few times to realize what he was really telling me. That was it. He left. Not a word to his beautiful boys. No goodbyes, no explanations, just in his car and gone. We were nothing to him. I won't go into more detail other than to say my plan A just walked out on us. I had no backup plan. By this time, the boys were in school full-time, which allowed me to return to work. But having no education, I would never find a position that would pay me enough to support my sons. I was in a mess, all because I never considered having a plan B. I was so afraid and alone, not to mention I felt ugly and unlovable, hurt, betrayed, all by the person I trusted most in the entire world. I can't even begin to explain the hurt and devastation I felt. Moving on, trying to be strong for my boys, I cried at night when I thought they were sleeping and wouldn't hear me. I couldn't burden them with any more than what their father had already dumped on them. Staying at home full time was a choice we made, but this one, there was no choice. It was handed to me without so much as warning. After a few months of not hearing a word from him, I contacted a lawyer and proceeded to get support for the boys. As soon as he got the legal papers for support, he quit his job. That's when his call came. No, he didn't ask to speak to his sons. He just wanted to inform me that he quit his job so I couldn't get any money from him. Getting back to my point, it is crucial to have a plan B. I had no such plan and was left in devastation. Over the next couple of years, I worked hard, earning my grade 12 diploma, working full-time and going to night school. I continued taking courses. I registered and took college courses that I wanted to complete to get the degree that I was working so hard toward. I finally got my degree and I landed the job that I wanted, a job that I loved and actually was able to pay my bills. I'm using my situation as an illustration, not at all implying all relationships will end this way. My point is that all through life, unexpected events happen that we have no control over. The only control we have is to be prepared for when we are faced with a challenge in our lives that pops up without warning. It's imperative that we have a contingency plan in place in the event something of this magnitude befalls you. One of the easiest and most fulfilling backup plans you can have is your education. I have lived through the whole scenario and do not say this lightly. Life is a way of teaching us many things, even when we think we know it all. Trust me, get yourself an education. Back yourself up with options. You can only improve your life by being as prepared as you can possibly be. So until next time, this is Deb Tim signing out. Thanks so much for watching. You can share with me what your plan B is if you have one, and if not, make one. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.